Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when everything seems to crumble. When the weight of disappointment presses so hard against your chest, it feels like you might never breathe fully again. That moment is called rock bottom. And while it may look like the end, it is actually the beginning. You see, rock bottom is not the enemy. It's the birthplace of clarity. It strips away the noise, the fluff, the ego, and reveals the raw, unfiltered truth. And in that truth lies power. Failure is not a sign to stop. It's a sign to dig deeper. It's life's way of asking, how bad do you really want it? It's not there to destroy you. It's there to develop you. Your pain can become your platform, your struggle, your story, and your failure, the very fuel that can launch you beyond your wildest imagination. Think about this. Rockets launch against gravity. They push through resistance, not around it, just like you will. Every no you've heard, every mistake you've made, every tear you've shed, they are not wasted. They are rocket fuel. There's a strange clarity that comes when everything falls apart. When the job is lost, the relationship ends, the dream shatters, or the plan fails miserably. Suddenly, all the things you thought mattered fade into the background. You're left with silence, emptiness, the kind of stillness that forces you to confront yourself. And in that quiet, something powerful begins to stir. We often think of rock bottom as a dead end, as the moment everything stops. But what if it's actually where everything truly begins? Because when you hit that low, there's no more pretending. No more masks, no more distractions, no more hiding behind titles or achievements. You're face to face with your fears, your doubts, your regrets. And strangely, that's when you start to see clearly what you value, what you want, what you're capable of surviving. You begin to realize that falling isn't what breaks you, it's what wakes you. Rock bottom is the point where you're no longer afraid to rebuild because you've already lost. That fear that used to stop you, gone. That need to impress everyone else, irrelevant. What's left is raw determination, real hunger, and a sense of honesty about who you are and what you're willing to fight for. There's a kind of freedom in starting from nothing. Because when you've been stripped down to your lowest, you finally understand what's worth rising for. Failure has a way of cutting through the noise like nothing else can. When you fall short, when your plans unravel, when things don't go the way you envisioned, that's when truth shows up. Not the filtered version you present to the world, not the story you tell yourself to stay comfortable, but the unedited, raw truth about who you are, what drives you, and what you still need to grow. Success can mask your blind spots. It can allow ego to grow quietly, feeding off applause and achievements. But failure is honest. It doesn't flatter, it exposes. It doesn't sugarcoat, it confronts. It holds up a mirror and says, here's what's real. And while that truth might sting at first, it's also what sets you free. Because once you see clearly your weaknesses, your habits, your patterns, you can change, you can adjust, you can evolve. Truth is power, and failure is often the only thing bold enough to deliver it straight. It's in the moments when everything goes wrong that you get to ask the deeper questions. Was I chasing the right goal? Was I doing this for the right reasons? Was I giving it my all or just coasting? These are the questions that refine you. These are the truths that make you dangerous, in the best way. Failure isn't just an event. It's a flashlight. It shines into the corners of your life and says, look here, pay attention. This is where you grow. Pain has a way of leaving a mark. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't give warnings. It just shows up, often uninvited and unrelenting. And when you're in the middle of it, it can feel unbearable, like it's going to swallow you whole. But pain isn't pointless. It's not just there to hurt you. It's there to shape you. Every scar tells a story. Every heartbreak, every failure, every betrayal, it all holds energy. And that energy can be turned into something powerful if you let it. Pain can push you, fuel you, or wake you up in a way that comfort never will. It demands your attention. It forces you to grow. It teaches you what strength really is. Not in avoiding the hurt, but in standing up while it still aches. Think about it. Some of the most driven, passionate, relentless people you'll ever meet aren't that way because life was easy. They became who they are because life got hard. They turned their pain into a reason to rise, not an excuse to quit. Ooh, they took the weight and learned how to carry it, then used it to build something unshakable. Pain doesn't have to be a prison. It can be a forge. It can refine your focus, sharpen your vision, and deepen your empathy. It can remind you what matters and what doesn't. And when you choose to use your pain rather than be used by it, that's when it becomes power. That's when it becomes fuel for your purpose. There's a certain illusion that comfort brings. The idea that if things are easy, then everything must be right. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. Growth is uncomfortable. It's messy. It's painful. You don't become stronger by staying where it's safe. You become stronger by stepping into the unknown, by facing pressure, by enduring the things that stretch you past your limits. Think about how muscles grow. You don't build them by sitting still. You tear them in training and resistance and pain, and the body rebuilds stronger. The same is true of your character. Who you are when everything is falling apart says more than who you are when everything's going well. Struggle introduces you to yourself. It shows you what you're really made of, not what you hope you are, not what you say you are, but what you prove yourself to be when there's nothing left but grit and will. Every challenge you faced, every moment you wanted to give up and didn't, every setback you pushed through, those are the moments that built you. Not the highlights. The pressure. Adversity isn't a detour from your path. It's part of the path. It's the training ground. And whether you like it or not, it's doing something for you, hardening your resolve, sharpening your instincts, making sure that when you do rise, you rise with depth, with resilience, with substance. You don't become unshakable by being untested. You become unshakable because you've been shaken and you chose not to break. Failure isn't just an obstacle. It's a question. Every time you fall, every time something doesn't go your way, life is looking you dead in the eye and asking, how bad do you want it? It's not about punishment. Oh! It's not about rejection. It's about revealing your level of commitment. Because let's be honest, anyone can want something when it's easy. Anyone can dream when the path is smooth and the doors are open. But real desire, real hunger, reveals itself in the storm. When it's hard, when it's quiet. When no one is watching and quitting would be easy. That's where the fire is tested. That's where you find out if you're just interested or if you're invested. Are you chasing a fantasy or are you in this for real? Are you willing to sacrifice to stay focused when things fall apart, to keep moving even when the motivation is gone and all that's left is your vision?
Failure shows you what you're made of. It doesn't care about what you say you want. It cares about what you're willing to do.
Will you show up again after the disappointment? Will you try again after the rejection? Will you put in the work when the results aren't instant? If your answer is yes, if you're the kind of person who refuses to stay down, then failure becomes fuel. Every loss becomes a lesson. Every delay becomes a sharpening. And eventually, life stops asking if you want it because your actions already answered. Nothing rises without resistance. That's a law of nature. Airplanes need lift to take off, and that lift only comes through opposing force. Rockets don't glide gently into the sky. They explode upward, fighting gravity with everything they've got. The same principle applies to life. Resistance isn't there to stop you. It's there to strengthen you. It's part of the process. We tend to think something is wrong when it gets hard. Like maybe we're off course, maybe we're not good enough, maybe it's a sign to quit. But resistance doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're moving. It means you're trying to rise in the pressure you're feeling. That's the weight of growth. That's the friction of leveling up. You don't build endurance without being pushed. You don't build mental toughness and ease. And you definitely don't become great by running from pressure. You have to go through it. The challenges, the setbacks, the weight, they are building you, molding you, preparing you for the altitude you're aiming for. The truth is, resistance is a gift, because every time you fight through it, you're proving that you're not just dreaming about the top. You're willing to work for it. And that work, that pressure, it changes you. It rewires how you think, how you react, how you lead. It turns soft hope into hard conviction. So when you feel that weight, when things get hard and the pressure starts to rise, don't panic. That's not a sign to stop. That's your signal to keep pushing. Because just like rockets, you weren't built to stay grounded. You were made to rise, and resistance is the very thing that makes liftoff possible. Mistakes are not the enemy. They're the teachers that show up uninvited, often loud and inconvenient, but always with something to say. What to say? You don't grow by getting everything right the first time. You grow by getting it wrong, by falling flat on your face, and then figuring out why. Every mistake carries a message. It reveals what you didn't know, what you overlooked, what needs to be tightened, what you can do better next time. And if you're paying attention, those messages become the very blueprint for your next level. The people who go far aren't the ones who never make mistakes. They're the ones who learn fast, adjust quickly, and don't take failure personally. Too many people freeze when they mess up. They internalize it. They think, I failed, so I must not be good enough. But that's not true. Failure doesn't mean you're not worthy. It just means you're in motion. Mistakes are proof that you're trying, that you're stretching, that you're reaching for something bigger than what you already know. In fact, avoiding mistakes is often a sign of playing too small. If you never stumble, if everything's always neat and easy, chances are you're not challenging yourself enough. Mastery. So stop fearing mistakes. Make them. Learn from them. Own them. Because they aren't the end of your story. They're the turning points that sharpen your skills, deepen your insight, and make the eventual win even more powerful. Every struggle you faced, every failure you've endured, every tear, loss, and lonely night, it all matters. It's not wasted. It's not just something to survive and forget. It's a story. And your story holds power. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with the real, the raw, the journey. The world is full of highlight reels, but what truly inspires are the behind-the-scenes battles. When you open up about where you've been, what you've overcome, how you pulled yourself out of the darkness, that's when people listen. That's when hearts shift. Because someone out there is standing where you once stood, wondering if they'll make it too. Your story gives others permission to hope, permission to keep going, permission to believe that maybe, just maybe, they're not broken beyond repair, that maybe failure isn't final, that maybe they too can rise. What you went through wasn't just for you, it can be the lifeline for someone else. And when you choose to share it, to stop hiding the scars and start revealing the strength they represent, you turn pain into purpose. Your voice becomes a bridge, your experience becomes a guide.
What's it to stop?
And you become more than a survivor. You become a source of encouragement, a source of truth, a source of light in someone else's dark tunnel. So don't underestimate what you've been through. Don't silence the very journey that shaped you. Because your story, your real, unpolished, honest story, has the power to ignite change in someone who thought they were alone. We're taught to fear the fall, to avoid it, hide from it, pretend we're above it. But the truth is, falling is part of the process. It's not the fall that defines you. It's what you do when you hit the ground. Some people fall and stay down, convinced it's over. But others, they fall, feel the pain, and rise anyway. That's the difference. Falling doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It means you dared to try. You stepped out. You risked something. And yes, it hurt. Yes, it was embarrassing. Maybe it shattered parts of you. But that doesn't mean you failed. It means you're alive in the fight. And if you're still breathing, there's still a move to make. We grow through the fall. We gain perspective. We develop toughness. We learn where we were unprepared, where our ego got in the way, or where our foundation wasn't as solid as we thought. The fall teaches. It humbles. And it strips us of the illusion that progress is supposed to be clean. If you're going to climb higher, you have to stop fearing the bottom. You have to stop seeing the fall as the end. Start seeing it as an opportunity to rise different, to rise wiser, stronger, sharper. The fall isn't failure. Staying down is. Regret is heavier than any stumble you'll ever take. So when you fall, and you will, don't run from it. Sit in it, feel it, and then get up like it never had the final say. Because it doesn't. You do. When you think of success, it's easy to see it as something that happens despite failure. As if failure is just an obstacle you need to overcome before reaching the prize. But the reality is far more profound. The truth is that you don't rise in spite of failure. You rise because of it. You rise because of it. Every failure, every setback, every time you've been knocked down has been a part of your growth. It's an essential chapter of your story. Without it, you wouldn't have the wisdom, resilience, or depth to fully appreciate the success that's ahead of you. People who achieve great things aren't those who simply avoid failure. They're those who understand its value. They've been through the fire, and instead of getting burned, they use that heat to sharpen their resolve. They've seen what it's like to be knocked down, but more importantly, they've learned how to get back up. Each failure was a lesson. Each time they stumbled, they found something important about themselves, their limits, their capacity for persistence, their ability to adapt and move forward when everything seemed impossible. Success without failure is hollow. It's built on false assumptions. You don't truly understand your potential unless you've tested it, unless you've pushed yourself beyond what you thought was your breaking point, unless you've been humbled by the enormity of the challenge. When you rise after failure, you rise with a different kind of power. You don't just bring your skills and knowledge, you bring your experience. You bring a deeper understanding of what it means to fight, to struggle, to keep going when every ounce of your being wants to quit. You've been in the arena. You know the cost. And you choose to pay it because you believe in what's on the other side. Failure is a teacher. And when you're willing to learn from it, to not run from the pain or the disappointment, but to sit with it, to reflect on it, that's when you gain something invaluable. It's not just the lessons that failure offers, it's the transformation it ignites within you. You don't just recover after a fall, you evolve. You become stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Every failure contributes to the person you're becoming, the one who can handle bigger challenges, who can navigate more complex obstacles, and who has the perseverance to keep going, no matter how many times they're knocked down. You rise because of failure, because in the moment of failure, you're forced to tap into a deeper part of yourself. It's in those dark times that you discover how far you're willing to go, how hard you're willing to fight, and how much you're willing to endure. And when you push through, when you rise again, you do so with a deeper sense of purpose and clarity than ever before. You understand that success isn't a destination. It's the process of overcoming, of becoming. It's not just the achievement, it's the transformation you undergo as you pursue it. Every failure adds another layer of experience to your foundation. And as you build that foundation, you become more solid, more unshakable, more prepared for the next challenge that comes your way. The more times you've failed and risen, the more powerful you become. Because you realize that no setback is permanent. You learn that you are not defined by your failures. You are defined by your ability to rise again, to push through when the odds are against you, to keep moving forward when the world is telling you to stop. The truth is, if you never failed, if you never experienced the crushing weight of defeat, you would never know the depth of your own strength. You would never discover just how much you are capable of achieving. And you would never truly understand that the road to success is not a straight line. It's a winding path filled with obstacles, setbacks, and challenges that are all part of the process. So don't fear failure. Embrace it. Own it. Let it teach you, let it shape you, because it's the very thing that will give you the strength to rise higher than you ever imagined possible. So remember this, failure is not the end of your story. It is merely a chapter, and often it's the most important chapter. It's not something to fear or avoid. It's a catalyst for growth, the foundation for success, and the fuel for your journey. Every time you fall, you rise with more wisdom, more strength, and more resilience. Don't let setbacks define you. Let them refine you. Keep pushing. Keep learning, keep growing, because the moment you stop fearing failure is the moment you truly unlock your potential. And as you rise, as you transform every challenge into fuel, you'll realize that nothing can hold you down, not even rock bottom. You're not just surviving, you're soaring. You're soaring.